Ladies and gentlemen, friends, colleagues and members of the Kabul Model United Nations. My name is Ian Collard and I'm the Deputy Ambassador here at the British Embassy in Kabul. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you today, and my apologies that I'm not there in person. Let me start by saying the United Nations is quite simply a force for good. 75 years ago, representatives from 51 nations met in London. They showed ambitions to build a global community out of the searing experience of 2 world wars. But it was also an inception rooted in optimism and a determination that we the peoples would create a better future for ourselves and for our children. Over the past 75 years, the United Nations has achieved many things. It has promoted development and democracy. It has strengthened universal values and human rights, particularly of women and girls. It has immunised the vulnerable. It has fed the hungry. It has negotiated peace settlements and supported stability, reconciliation and reconstruction in places that have needed it the most. The United Kingdom was there at the beginning, and we've been a major contributor to the UN ever since, upholding its principles, providing political and financial support and expertise, and even peacekeeping troops. During my own first diplomatic posting, which was at the United Nations in New York, I experienced firsthand how the United Kingdom, as a permanent member of the UN Security Council, is resolute in its commitment to international peace and security. And this clearly applies to our approach here in Afghanistan. On the 12th of September, Afghan people took a significant step on the road to peace with the start of the Afghanistan peace negotiations in Doha. We should be prepared for a long and challenging process ahead. When the talks resume on the 5th of January, the parties will start negotiating on substance for the first time. In many cases, the distance between the two sides may seem unbridgeable. There will almost certainly be setbacks before there are breakthroughs. This is normal and is a necessary part of the negotiations. A successful outcome will require a long, challenging process of building trust, finding common ground, and compromising. International partners will need to show commitment and patience to that process as well. The United Kingdom, for our part, stands ready to continue offering our support. Today, the biggest obstacle to peace is the appalling level of violence throughout Afghanistan. We are clear, the Taliban is responsible for the majority of this violence. Violence which not only kills, but also undermines confidence in negotiations. That violence needs to end. The outcome of the Afghanistan peace negotiations is for Afghans themselves to decide. But the parties, and especially the Taliban, must recognise that Afghanistan today is not the place it was 20 years ago. To be sustainable, a peace settlement will need to be inclusive and preserve the rights and freedoms of all Afghans, including women and minorities. We often talk about the gains of the last 19 years. Gains such as increased freedom for women and girls, access to education and media freedoms. It's your generation that has been the beneficiary of those gains. And it's your generation that will shape and lead Afghanistan after the peace process concludes. That is why it's vital that your voices are heard now. I know from some of your interactions with my team at the British Embassy that you're concerned that you're not being listened to, or you don't see yourselves represented in either government or in Doha. That is understandable, and there is more that we, the international community, can do to support you by echoing and amplifying your messages. But that cannot happen without initiatives such as this one. A broad-based body like the Kabul Model United Nations, driven by its passionate and talented members, can have a big impact and make a real difference. The professional skills and experiences you can learn and gain in this body, such as diplomacy, networking, communicating and negotiating, are crucial in enabling you to develop coordinated and comprehensive messages and positions and make your voices heard. And it's not only about making your voices heard today. You are Afghanistan's future leaders, and you will play a huge role in ensuring a better future for all Afghans. You're building a brilliant platform here to help make this a reality, and I strongly encourage you to continue with your fantastic efforts. I can assure you, on behalf of the United Kingdom, that we are listening and we stand ready to support you. Thank you, and my very best wishes to you all.